Hey, everybody. It is noon on the dot Central Time, and I am going live to talk to you guys about surviving CRNA school. So I'll give everybody a few minutes to come on in. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, Charles. Oh, my sister-in-law. What's up, Reese? All right. Hey, guys. I'll let you guys kind of get settled in. Good to see you, Charles. I know you're getting your reading done. Oh, A. Briggs, what's up? Hey, guys. Hope everyone's doing well today. Hope you guys can hear me. You guys all good? You can hear me? Awesome. Well, today is going to be part 1 of 2. I'm going to be doing this exact same presentation on Facebook Live later. So if you can't stay or anything, I'll be doing this later. Yes, multitasking is what it's all about. Look at this man multitasking. So I will be doing this later on Facebook, and then I'll get a way to get you guys like the replay or anything else. If you guys have signed up and given me your email, the sign up is still in my bio. The reason I wanted you guys to sign up was just so that I could get you guys stuff. If I have any like PDFs or anything to give out, I wanted to be able to get a hold of you to give those to you. So if you haven't signed up already, go ahead and do that. Welcome. Give people a few more minutes to get signed in here. Find my water. My business partner should be getting on in a second here. Hey, Brooke. All right. So I wanted to do this today because I know life and I know school has been upside down. Hey, Michelle, has been super messy and super crazy for so many of you due to COVID. And so today I wanted to really talk about like your mind, about getting your mind right. Because I think that's so crucial. And then tomorrow we're going to jump into some clinical topics, talk about ventilators. I'm going to break that down. Hey, I'm going to break that down for you. That's what I do best. I like to cut out the fluff and just give you guys the need to know information so that you can excel. CRNA school is an amazing journey, but let's keep it real. It's also a hot, stressful mess as well. From trying to get into school to surviving school to beyond, it pretty much rocks your life. Hey, Madison. Hey, Celebrity Anesthesia. Good to see you guys. Welcome. Thanks for hanging with me. So your life is completely rocked, and you find out really quickly that however you were living your life, you can't do in anesthesia school. Everything is completely, hey, Ashley, completely unbalanced. You're hardly spending time with friends or family. You're missing vacays, you're missing weddings, you're missing your kids' events. You're trying to keep up with demands of anesthesia school and studying, and everything else kind of goes on the back burner, like eating healthy and working out. And it's crazy. And you're like, where's the balance? Like, where's my life? And then you get to clinical. And when you get to clinical, there's different personalities, different preceptor sites. You go from being this expert nurse to like this novice, and they're like, don't touch anything in the blue. And you're like in this OR environment. Hey, Paul, how are you? And it's just this whole different world. So I want you to be able to get your mind right. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because that's crucial. The clinical stuff, the fun, good stuff I love, we'll talk about tomorrow too. Also, if you stay to the end today, and if you stay at the end tomorrow for the second part, I will enter you guys in to win something, because I'll be making a little bit of announcement of something. I'll be SRNA to CRNA, how are you? I'll be entering you guys into something to win a prize and making an announcement on something that I am going to have for you guys that I've been putting together. So get excited. So real quick, those of you who might not be following me, might not know me, so you're probably wondering why the heck you should even listen to me anyways. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I 2 months postpartum, I recently just had a really big blessing of a surprise baby. So my husband and I, we have 5 dogs, 4 dachshunds and a husky. I know, we're crazy. Don't even ask how that happened. I live in the western suburbs of Chicago. I have my own 1099 S Corporation business as a CRNA, and I also work in hospitals in various settings. And 4 very short years ago, thanks, Charles, I was in your shoes. I was, working, really hard as a nurse. I was struggling through anesthesia school. I was trying to fix my very broken relationship at the time. I was broke, and I know what it feels like to drown and to be disappointed. But on the flip side of that, I ended up getting good grades. I did some volunteer work in school. I repaired my relationship. We're now married. And passed boards, got a job, and I did all the things. So the reason I'm here is because I want to help you thrive, and I want to help you guys be better than, how I did. And I want to let you guys know that you are not alone in this journey, because it's a rough run. So really quick, I would love to hear who's here today. Are you? I know some of you. If you want to type in like the comment section, are you an RN? Are you aspiring to be a nurse someday and just want to get some information, or are you a SRNA? So let me know who's here. I was an ICU RN, did some med-surg tele for a few years, and then bounced on into anesthesia school. I was a trauma nurse back in the day. And then, if you'd be so kind, I'd love to hear how you're feeling right now. So in your journey to becoming a CRNA, if you want to go ahead and send me a emoji over that explains how are you feeling right now. Oh, CRNA school in August. Congratulations. Robespierre Bear. Awesome. Oh, absolutely surviving. I get it. Aspiring to be an RN. Awesome. Yes, Michelle, you were in that OR. Yep. Charles. Yep. So that face right there, that's why we're going to chat today, because I totally understand that face right there, that emoji. Absolutely. It is rough, especially when you are in the trenches. Yes, Brooke, first semester. Congratulations. You're just getting your feet wet. Yep. Oh, yeah. It's a rough one. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do, hi Juan, good to see you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about procrastination, talk a little bit about emotional intelligence. Then I'm going to give you I think 6 or 7 items that you can kind of put into use and think about and just really get this brain right. Oh, hey Ashley. Yes, CVICU. You guys are awesome. She did this one. Yep. I feel you guys. Yes, this is what it's about. Good. Then you're in the right place today, because that's how I felt too through anesthesia school. I mean, literally, I used to cry in the OR in the morning sometimes because it was so, I was like, what is this? So, all right, let's jump in. It'll be about 20 minutes or so, and then I'll leave some time at the end for questions. If any of you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, any of that good stuff, okay? So if you guys follow me on Instagram, I put a quote up yesterday with a picture of the OR, and it said, the first step towards success is when you refuse to be captive of the environment in which you first find yourself. So in anesthesia school, trying to get anesthesia school, you are not being held captive. You are not the victim. You chose to be here. You want to be there. And the first step of success is realizing that you are not captive in your situation you're in. You are actually in control. You are in control. I promise you, even doesn't feel like it. And that's what I want to get to. And that's what I want to talk about today, is I want to give you back some of that control, because I know you're all these emojis. I know how you're feeling. So procrastination is a big thing. If you can manage your time, you can manage your life, especially in anesthesia school. And the thing with procrastination is it actually has nothing to do with time. Sorry guys, someone trying to call me. So procrastination has to do with your mood. So if you've noticed, whether you're writing a paper, if you're doing laundry, if you're cleaning, if you're writing a freaking care plan, if you're studying for your NCLEX, it evokes emotions, right? Anger, frustration, joy, happiness, self-doubt, anxiety. Everything that we do has an emotion to it. And this is going to lead us to either doing the task or not doing the task. And if you're in school, you have no time to be putting stuff off. And especially if you're trying to get into school, you have kids, you have husbands, you have other obligations. We have no time to procrastinate, guys. So the remedy is, if you want to manage your time, if you want to not procrastinate, you have to manage your minds and you have to manage your mood. If you can do that, your productivity will skyrocket, and you will have more energy to spend some time with your family, to have a little bit of a breather, to maybe do some volunteer work, okay? Because no matter what, when you come back to that task that you're putting off, your mood is still going to be the same. It hasn't changed. You have to learn to manage yourself. We are wired as humans to want to fix short-term problems, short-term things, okay? We don't want to look into the long-term stuff. We want what feels good in the short term. And unfortunately, CRNA school is a long-term process. There are no shortcuts. There is no easy roads. You have to go through it, and you have to pace yourself. You have to, walk through it. So you have to take those short-term wants, and you have to learn how to how to push through that and do what needs to be done necessarily right now for the long term. So in school, this is this beautiful chance for you to restructure yourself. This is where you get to change and morph not only into a competent and safe anesthesia provider, but into a different and a better person. This is what this journey is all about, guys, and it's all about getting your mind right. So we'll talk about like towards the end, but ways to not procrastinate. Get your mind right. You are a work in progress now more than you ever have been. And you need to learn to be consistent, and you need to learn how to be in control of your days. You need to structure your days. You need to plan them, and you need to pace them. I'm like type A crazy person over here. I would be like, I'm going to do this, and this today. And then I'm only setting myself up for failure. Pace yourself out. You are in this for the long haul. Be in it for the long haul. Okay. The big success. All right. And every day is going to be things that you can control and things that you cannot control. And you got to accept that. Okay. Things you can control, things you cannot control. Accept both of those things. And the key to really beating that procrastination, besides managing your mood, is the ability to create habits and create routines. Willpower is always going to run out. Let me see. Yeah, willpower and motivation. Motivation is always going to run out, but your habits and your routines and working on yourself is what's going to endure. It's going to decrease that decision fatigue that I talk about on Facebook, and it will allow you to have more physical and more emotional energy to be more productive and to be able to be a happier person in school. Hey, I see you guys are joining. Hey, Christy. Oh, hey, Nadia, you made it. Hey, guys. So that's kind of my bit on procrastination. Now, I want to talk to you about emotional intelligence. So I'm sure you guys are probably like, emotional intelligence, because I know that was like a big thing in like interviews and stuff like that. However, emotional intelligence is actually that secret sauce that is going to make you stand out and be amazing when you are at clinical. So emotional intelligence, oh, thank you. Emotional intelligence is self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management, okay? So those are the 4 big things of emotional intelligence. Now, when you're at clinical, I know you want to intubate without cutting a lip. You want to get the A-line in, in like 5 minutes. Like you want the skills, you want to look good. But I'm telling you, if you want to survive and be good in clinical, it's about knowing yourself, self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and managing relationships. That's what it is about. Essentially, you are in a box, literally, you are in a box all day with the surgeon, scrub techs, nurses, and your preceptor. Like you're stuck in that room all day doing surgeries, over and over and over again. And I know for me, I dealt with a lot of nurse bullying. I don't know if some of you guys have been through. I actually quit anesthesia school with like 5 days left because because of a nurse. She like bullied me and I just like lost my freaking mind. I like had enough. So I know a lot of that, goes on, but remember it's their issue. It's not yours. You are in control of you. I want you to be empathetic. I want you to be real. I want you to be helpful. If, the PACU nurses or pre-op nurses are being whatever, just, see if you can help. Hey, can I help you put an IV in? Can I do this? And if someone's snippy with you or gives you an attitude, keep it moving, keep going, be the stronger person. That's what emotional intelligence is really about. You are in control of what you do. Control the relationships no matter what any of those crazy surgeons or anybody else is doing. You control it. And remember, you're not bringing any of those people home with you. No one is coming home with you. You are there to learn skills and to also become a better and a stronger person. Hey guys, welcome. It's good to see you. I want to ask you guys a question. Do you guys actually realize that most people will never, ever, ever live their dream life? Which is sad, right? Most people will never live their dream life. And why is that? Because it's hard. This is hard. It's hard on an emotional and a physical level, on a mind level. It's hard, but you can do this. And I want you guys to, reach your dream of becoming a CRNA. And it's all about emotional intelligence. All right. So we talked about emotional intelligence, procrastination. Now I want to tie everything in together. So I'm checking in with you guys. You guys good? You guys okay? Yeah, Brooke, I hear you. I've been bullied too many times. Actually, my first job as an RN, I was actually like super bullied. Like I would go in the Pyxis, like in the med room and like cry. And it's real. And you know what, guys? The best kind of advice I got like in clinical is do not take things personal. You know what I mean? A lot of the times it's their problem. Don't take it personal. It doesn't matter. You are better than that. You are just there to learn. Keep your eye on the prize. You want that Brooke, CRNA behind your name, that Charles CRNA behind your name, right? That's what you want. So keep your eye on the prize. Be better than them. Be empathetic to whatever it is they're going through that is making, them being mean to you. That is literally what clinical is. It's about managing relationships, being socially aware and managing yourself. That's what it's all about. Because I've been there, and it's not nice, and it's not easy at all. So you guys good? Is it making sense? You guys get me about procrastination? It's all about your mind and your mood, baby. It has nothing to do with your time. It's all about your mind and your mood. Perfect, Brooke. Thank you. All right. So what did Ashley say? Yes. Yep. And that's the thing. I think one time I got in a huge, I think the cardiac surgeon went psychotic. I thought his EJs were going to blow and his carotids were going to blow out of his neck. He went crazy. And I actually got sent home from the day because he acted like a fool. I got to paint my nails, have some champagne, but I didn't let it get to me. Some days you do, but don't let that get to you. Yeah, he was crazy. The resident was crying, and I was just I ain't got time for this. I was you ain't taking my piece today. So that's the key to surviving clinical. So let's go ahead, and I want to go through, I think I have, 6 things? So 6 quick things here that's going to kind of tie this together, and how can you create good days in the mess of anesthesia school. So number one, accept the fact that your balance is going to be off for a few years, and it's okay. Accept the tipping of the scales, accept it. It is what it is. This is just a temporary season. It's going to be okay. Number 2, let go of perfection. I do this every single day. I am a type A crazy person. I want perfect. Have you guys ever heard yet? I don't know if those of you in clinical, have you ever heard anyone say to you, the enemy to good is better? Anybody? It's so freaking true. The enemy to good is better. If it's good enough, if it's okay, leave it alone. You'll be fine. If your patient is cruising through anesthesia, leave it alone. Because I get caught in that trap all the time. So that's number 2. Let it go. Let go of perfection. Ain't gonna happen. Number 3, your struggle is essential. Your struggle is essential. The things that you will be most proud of in your life are the things that are the hardest and the most costly in many ways. When you feel that path of emotional resistance, you better keep going, because it just means you're on the right path. I get so many people message me, I don't think I can be a CRNA. I don't think I can do it. And that, that self-doubt, and even that oh, it's so hard. Great, good, keep going. Your struggle is essential. Number 4, embrace your beginner's mind as your most important asset and your greatest strength. So the fact that you walk in that OR and you went from being this, kick-ass ICU nurse or whatever it was to kind of knowing nothing, that's fantastic. This is where you are moldable and flexible. And this is where you're going to truly learn and change the most. Embrace that beginner's mind. It is your best tool right now. Number 5, define your own success to what a good day looks like. There is so much freaking noise in this world of everyone saying, do this, and that's not, you don't look like this. It'll make your head spin. There's so much noise. I want you, every day you go into clinical, you go into work, you do whatever. What does success look like for you? For example, if I don't kill anybody on a fantastic, success, right? I mean, not kidding, but not kidding. Maybe you wanted to try a new drug that day. Maybe you wanted to try a new emergence technique. Maybe you wanted to eat dinner with your family for 15 minutes without looking at your phone or having a textbook beside you. Those are all little things. Define what success looks like for you. Focus in on that. And if you do it for the day, then that was a successful day. Let everything else go. It doesn't matter. You're not bringing that cranky freaking nurse home with you anyways. And last one, number 6. Plan out your week. Huge planner. What is your priority for that week? Some days there's going to be tests. There's going to be papers due. There's going to be kids things you got to do. Things with the husband. Things when everything goes whatever. And you got to tweak your plan. But literally sit on there on Sunday. Look at what you have to do for that week and tweak it. Maybe you can only work out twice that week. Fine. Twice is better than nothing. You don't have to be perfect. Let it go. It's cool. Do what you can within the confines of where you're at in school and in your life. Be intentional and get your mind together. Write everything out in your calendar with times. I schedule every single thing out. Yes, you can come in. There we go. Sorry. And then, guys, get comfortable with being super uncomfortable. Just like sit in it. Like sit in being uncomfortable. Just get comfortable with it. It is what it is. You're going to be uncomfortable taking tests in class, trying new procedures, dealing with crazy surgeons. Like get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I was super, super organized in school. I actually have a link in my bio to like the sheet I use to manage out my day. It's free if you guys want to grab it. But I was super organized. My boyfriend and I always, at the time I'm married to him now, we always hung out on Saturdays no matter what. Like build your day out. What do you want your life to look at? You still can live a little bit of your life. As you guys are saying. I will vegetable stew for sure. You'll be able to see it. I was a paper person. What I did in school is like, you'll see, if you see the sheets that I have in my IG bio, my IG bio, there's a link there. I actually hung those on the wall so I could always see what was due next. Like I could always see, the test was coming, this was coming down the pipe, because I'm also a very visual person. But now I find that I schedule everything in my phone and my calendar and I give it time. So say like doing this live, I was from, 9 to 10, I was going to review my notes for the live. Then from 10 to 11, I was going to do this. So I've learned to schedule things out on my phone. And I think that helps a lot now. But in school, I definitely I think I did have a paper calendar, and then I had something on the wall so I could literally see what I was going into, because then I could figure out what I could do, what I could and what I couldn't do that week. And you got to accept the fact that you can't do everything. Guys, remember, this is all temporary. Right? Everything's temporary, right? But school and everything is temporary. And at some point, you are going to get your life back. You are building your life into what you want it to be. So you will get get your life back. I promise you. But for now, school, studying, getting into school, that is your life. Unbalanced is your reality, but it doesn't have to paralyze you. Got it? So I'm going to ask you guys like 4 questions that you can write down or text in your phone. Yeah, short-term pain for long-term gain. That's it. Be in it for the long term. Be in it for the hard work. Be in it for the struggle. That's what you're in this for, to be a better person, to be a better clinician. That's why you're in this. Yes, love it. Vegetable stew, yes. So I'm going to ask you guys these questions really quick, and I want you guys to like think about these. We're almost done here because I like to be quick. So are you in control right now, or is everything around you in control? Like, where are you at right now? Are you in control, or is everything else around you in control? Because you ultimately are in control. Remember, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. And look at things. What can you control? You can control you. Your thoughts, your attitude, your behavior, how much you study, how much you don't study, how much you procrastinate because you're not managing your mood. What can you control? And then what can't you control? You can't control the surgeon. You can't control the nurses, the scrub techs. You can't control your preceptor for the day. You cannot control what assignment you're in, but that's fine. Remember, you are not in captivity of the situations of your life. You are actually in control. Take that back. You can't control that stuff. Let it go. Be better. What can you learn? Okay, I didn't bite his head off today and cuss him out like I normally would have done. That's success. That's a win. And where do you waste your time and why? It's not so much where do you waste your time, but why are you wasting your time? What is the emotion behind that procrastination, and how can you rise above it, and how can you change? That's what's important. That's what's going to make your life more productive and better in this midst. The beginning of joy is accepting that life is supposed to be hard. The beginning of joy is accepting that life is supposed to be hard. If this were easy, everybody would do it. But, those of you that are on here that have meshed me and do whatever, like, it's not. It's hard. Hey, Elle, welcome. I'll say my quote one more time. The beginning of joy is accepting that life is supposed to be hard. So you guys can do this. It's all a mind thing. So, I think that was enough for today. You guys have any questions, any concerns? Did you guys learn or anything like pop out at you today that was helpful? I appreciate you guys hanging with me today. Hey, Elle. Good. I'm glad to hear that, vegetables too. So do I. I got to hear this stuff all the time too. Yep. Juan, struggle, check. Yep. Anybody else questions you guys have about anything? Any stories you want to share? I could go all day about how many times I've wanted to fight some people. But really to get the point home, I was able to be a CRNA. I was able to do all the things. I was able to do blocks and intubate somebody and do all the things when I got out of school. I could run an anesthetic and I could feel good about it. But that's great. But what really matters is that I was a better person. I was a different person. I morphed and changed. I took all the just ugliness and difficulties of being broke, of being in a relationship that was like a mess at the time. And I became someone better, and I was able to handle all the crap that goes on even as a CRNA. Even as a CRNA, there's politics and there's this and there's that. But I was better. Anesthesia school was the best thing to happen to me because I'm now able to handle all these other situations that happen while at work and while at home. Yes, Michelle. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, great, Nadia. Thank you. Thanks, Brooke. Yep, you're in control, man. Don't let anybody. There's this song by, I think, Leela James. It's called My Joy. I used to listen to it all the time in anesthesia school because it's just you will not steal my joy. And just don't let them. You're there to learn. You're there to be better. Let ugliness, let struggle, let hardship make you better. You're going to be a refined, beautiful diamond by the time you get out of this because it's hard. The struggle is real. So if you guys missed any of it, I will be on Facebook doing this exact same presentation tonight at 6 p.m. Central Time on Facebook Live. I will get, you guys will be able to see this at a later date. I'll get that. If you didn't sign up, go ahead and sign up. Link in my bio just so I can have your email if you want to get stuff and kind of hear what I've got going on. I've got some fun stuff, some master classes and study sessions I'm putting together for you guys right now on icky topics like brachial plexus and, all that good stuff. And then tomorrow is going to be part 2. So same time, noon on IG, 6 on Facebook. I will do ventilators because I know a lot of people struggle with ventilators. So I'm going to break that down, make it quick, to the point. We'll talk about ventilators tomorrow. I will make my announcement, and I see all of you that stayed today. I'll enter you in for a prize that I will be announcing tomorrow of something so I can further kind of help you guys. Any other questions or anything I can do before I let y'all get back to your day? Thanks, Brooke. Hey, Kara. Hi, Renew. Good to see you. The girl's giving me a lot of helpful advice. Anything else? Oh, thanks, Juan. I've been talking to you for a while. Do I still deal, so Christy asked, do I still deal with any bullying as a CRNA? Yes, you will find that a lot of times there's a lot of aggression with anesthesiologists sometimes. Not really aggression, almost like an undercover aggression. Some places I work at, I have a great relationship with the anesthesiologists, and it's fine. But other times, they can be a little, I'm trying to think of the word. I don't know. I'm degrading or just kind of, downplay your skill set and stuff like that. The surgeons can still be a little crazy, definitely not as bad as when you're in school. You just kind of, like you said, you just learn to kind of stand your ground. I just try to be respectful. There's actually a few surgeons I don't really like, but I'm always kind and respectful to them. It's not my problem that they're so mad and angry, whatever. I'm just here to keep their patient safe. So just remember what you're doing. You're there to get your patient safely through anesthesia. If anybody else wants to get in the way of that, that's their problem. And if I do have any problems with anybody, I'll always ask for backup from another CRNA, or I'll grab my attending and have him, have my back. So a little bit, but I think I don't really deal with it. I just don't, I'm like, whatever, a nurse gives me attitude or surgeon does whatever. I put my drapes up and I'm like, deuces. I don't engage. So Michelle, do you feel like they're taking their job away? I think some do. I think some of them do. I think some love us and they're like, do it. I'm just, whatever, please just do it. I'm all good. But I do. I think some of them think that we're a threat. They can say all day that we're not smart enough and we're not good enough. But I don't know. I think they're threatened by us. Patients love us. I always tell people, as having that nursing background and that bedside, care and everything, that is what sets us apart. You're nursing. That's why I tell everyone, work your little booties off as a nurse because it'll make your transition to becoming a CRNA that much easier, because establishing rapport, making people feel comfortable, holding someone's hand, sitting and crying with somebody sometimes, like all those human things, like that's our job. We've been doing that since the day we got out of nursing school. And that is our edge as a CRNA. Yes, we can do all the things. We can put central lines in. We can do epidurals. We can do, cabbages and heart. We can do all that. But our edge is being a nurse. So don't ever forget, no matter what, that you are a nurse, and be proud of that, because that's what makes you special. And patients love that. I mean, we get so many compliments like, oh, this person was so great, da da da. So yeah, girl, I always put my drapes up. Literally, I take them drapes, I jack them up if someone is like aggravating me. I'm like, bye. Like, I do not engage. I think actually what happened the other day, we had this shoulder surgeon, literally no joke. He wanted that blood pressure to be like, what did he want it to be? He wanted it to be like literally like 70 to 80, like systolic, so he wouldn't have bleeding in the shoulder. And the patient's sitting up. And if you don't have enough, a high MAP, that blood is not going to get to the brain, especially because in anesthesia, they're vasodilated and all that blood's pooling in their pelvis because they're sitting for shoulder surgery. And so I think he was like, I need the pressure under 100. I'm like, all right, dude. And so he was like, what's the blood pressure? So I like cycled it, and it was literally, I'm not even kidding, it was like 101 over like 72, threw a fit. Threw all his stuff, stomped around, like ran out of the room, like tattled on me to somebody. Girl, I never got off my seat. I was like sitting there. I like turned up the gas. He's like, I was like, okay. Like I never moved. I'm like, whatever. Like I didn't take it personal. Like, so, yes, that stuff still happens, but he's not cutting my checks, right? Like, whatever. So yeah, stupid stuff like that will happen. And that's what I'm saying. That's why you go through school, so you can be like, okay, and, I just didn't engage. Don't engage with it. Don't engage with crappy behavior. Exactly, Charles. Let it blow over. He came back in, and then literally he's like so crazy. He came back. I worked with him like a week later, and he was like, what's the blood pressure? And I was like 80 over something. He was like, oh, I'm just kidding. It's fine. And I'm like, I can't. Yes, girl. Go, Brooke. It's not the pressure. It's your skills. Yeah. Yes, girl. See, you're just going to tell yourself these things in your head and just like let it go. I mean, I went home that day and lived my life. I wasn't worried about him. I ain't tripping over him. The patient did fine. At the end of the day, you're there to keep the patient safe. The surgeons want to cut. They want to cut. You want the patient to be alive at the end. I mean, they do too, but they ultimately want to cut. You want the patient to be good. Hi, Shashi, how are you? Any other questions? I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything up here. I love it. I guess he just needs to be better. But for the most part, I do work with anesthesiologists that are great. You know what I mean? Like they're almost just like, please don't call me, because I take 24-hour calls. So I'm like the only one in-house for a while there, and they're literally like, don't call me. Like, we trust you, do your thing. Which is good. It's empowering and it feels good. And then it just makes, our skills like all the more better. You guys have any more questions for me about anything? I could tell you stories about crazy surgeons all day. Girl, please. We ain't worried about them. The job is great. I love being a CRNA. Love the job. It's amazing. It's well worth the hard work and all that good stuff. It's amazing. If any of you guys are wondering. He's laughing. What about you guys? Anybody raise your hand? Like those of you SRNAs, anybody have like really bad, like surgeons screaming, throwing instruments, yelling? Anyone experienced that yet? Raise your hand. And you probably see your preceptor probably didn't even like bat their eye. Oh, hi Megan, how are you? Spilling water. How long did it take you before you felt comfortable in the OR? So that's the thing, is what I always say is, I don't think, I'll get to your question in just a second, Brooke. I don't think you ever get comfortable, which I know sounds weird. I think you get really good with your skills. You build them, you get in kind of touch and go situations. But the key, I think, to actually being an amazing anesthesia provider is to being humble and to never really get comfortable. But you do get to a place where you feel like, okay, I got this. You get to kind of a place where you can, because you guys are at the head of the bed. You're in essence running the room. When shit hits the fan, it's not the surgeon that's running the everything. It's you. Like, and literally, I've had a couple situations happen. All those heads like turn to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm in charge. So you don't necessarily get comfortable, but you get to a point where you know the surgery, you know your patients, you know your drugs in and out, you know everything, and you're able to just think. You're able to be like, okay, this happens, I'm doing this. If this happens, oh, my business partner, what up, what up? And best friend. If this happens, I'm going to do this. You just get to a point where you're like, I can handle it. I can handle it. I'll ask for help if I need it. But you never want to get comfortable. You always want to be, I always say, like, negative thinking. What's the worst thing that could happen? You're always going to be thinking that, and that's what's going to keep you safe. Hey, Pat, I miss you. Pat's an amazing OR nurse. She's retired. I used to work with her. Dame Lady, what's up? Used to work with you when I was a nurse back in the day. Let's see, Brooke said, what about taking locum assignments in fun places? Yes, I actually Ashley had just asked me this question. Yes, you can actually travel as a CRNA. It's called locums. I do kind of local locums. Like, I have my 1099 like escort business. And so I bounce around to different hospitals, GI centers, surgery centers, what have you, plastic. I'm actually going to a plastics office on Thursday. So yeah, and you actually, if you go like out west to some remote places, like, there's like some serious money to be made out there as a CRNA. I'm like married with a kid and a mortgage now, but if I wasn't, please, I would be out there. So yes, you can absolutely travel as a CRNA. Same thing as a nurse, get that first job, be there for about a year, get your feet wet. I took a job where CRNAs were my first job, CRNAs were very independent and autonomous. And I literally got thrown into the fire. I worked 98 hours in 2 weeks. I did every skill set I learned in anesthesia, I pretty much did in those 2 weeks. It was like insane, but it was good. And then I'm like, okay, all right, now I can kind of travel around, bounce around, learn different things. So absolutely, you can take different locum assignments in different states, and they're like hungry for CRNAs right now. The market is open. The money is in a really good place right now. Some places are giving sign-on bonuses. It's a really good time in a season to be a CRNA. So yeah, you can travel all over. Are you glad you transitioned from bedside RN to CRNA? Oh, I am. Yes, because me and Dame Lady worked in the ER together back in the day. Fun times. I absolutely am, and I definitely think you should definitely consider it. I loved being a trauma nurse. I loved like the skills. I loved the bedside nursing. I loved all the things, but I know I wanted to increase my skill set. I wanted to kind of critically think, and it's also really nice to take care of one patient at a time. Like, it's really nice. You're in your room with your little crazy surgeon, the nurses and whatever, and you just have that one patient that you're responsible for from pre-op all the way to recovery room. So I love it. I think being a CRNA for me was one of the best decisions I ever made. So if you like to be challenged, if you like critically thinking, if you like to kind of be in charge a little bit, if you're type A, you kind of like to run things, if you're, like perfectionist type things, all those things, it's a great career for that. Great career. And you don't have to bring any work home with you, which is like super good. Let me see if anyone has anything. Yeah, girl, 98 hours in 2 weeks. It was insane. I liked the paycheck though. I hadn't seen money in like 3 years. Have you seen a drop in interest for CRNA due to COVID? No, I don't think so. I think the people that I've been talking to have just been, I think now that we have like PPE, and now that things are better, and now that, we're finding ways that we're not, getting exposed quite as where we could. I don't think so. I think if anything, people are more excited about the profession because they're seeing what CRNAs do. I think COVID really brought out people seeing like our skill set, because I'm, really seeing that we can intubate, we can put central lines in, we can do A lines, we can rock those ICUs, we can help run we can do ventilators. Like, I think it's made us just look even better, which I think is really exciting. How are groups handling COVID? Are there furloughs happening? Yes, there actually has been a lot of furloughs. One of my good friends on IG, actually, she, I don't know if fired or furloughed, but a lot of nurse CRNAs here actually got furloughed. They had to kind of use their vacation time for a couple weeks. I also think that COVID has really shown, I think it's kind of shown if your group appreciates you as to how they've kind of treated CRNAs in COVID. My group that I work with has actually been great. They've been working with us, making sure that, we maybe weren't getting a full 24-hour shift. We were still getting like big shifts. Hi, I am King. Good to see you. Good to see you. So actually, and once again, it just shows that no job is safe. Like nothing's been safe. You know what I mean? Especially if like you work in like a GI center or like a cataract place as a CRNA or something like that. They weren't doing any of those elective cases. So the way the groups have handled COVID though definitely tells you how they feel about CRNAs though. But my group has been good. Do I have relaxed days? Like relaxed days at work? Some days, yes. Some days, you get the cataract room and you're like chilling all day. It's actually a pretty good day. Besides, you get these like old people and their blood pressures could be all messed up and stuff like that, or they had their breakfast that morning. But yes, there are some days, that's why, it's a give or take. Some days are great. A cataract day or maybe a vitrectomy day. Doing GI can either be hectic or good, but yeah, there's some days where like being a nurse, you're running around crazy, you're nothing, it's madness. And other days you're like, oh, thank God I'm in cataracts today. And like, this is like literally what you do all day, just chilling. And it's a nice reprieve sometimes from doing like busy ortho days and stuff like that. Did you consider being an NP? I actually did. Hi, my CRNA life. Been chatting with you. Great page, by the way. Check it out. I actually did consider being an NP. I was actually working in Baltimore, and I was going to be a acute care nurse practitioner. That's what I wanted to do. So I got all my stuff together. I applied. I went in for the interview. I think it was at Hopkins in Baltimore. And I don't know, it just like didn't feel right. So I interviewed, I did everything. They actually accepted me, and I was just like, it just didn't sit right. I said, I don't know if I really want to do this. I don't know if it's the right time. So I declined, and I went about living my life. And then a friend of mine had started CRNA school and really was like, I love it, look into it. So I did. And so I actually was on a travel assignment in New York, and I had run into an anesthesiologist. He was doing a blood patch. And I just kind of asked him questions. And I said, do you mind if I like shadow you? And he said, yeah, well, I'll just use the CRNAs, blah, blah, blah. And then I did, so I did that at work. I just kind of put myself out there, asked if I could hang out, shadow. I was like super annoying, asking all these questions. And then I, talked to people that were in the CRNA program. And then I just kind of decided this is me. This is what I want. I want those skills. I want the high level thinking. I want I wanted that. I realized that was like perfect for me. So yeah, I did get into NP school, and then just ended up that it wasn't for me. Hello. Good to see you. And like I said, I love being a CRNA, but you have to be willing to go through the fire. Not saying NP is very hard too. Most of my friends are actually NPs, and they like love it. But I think with CRNA school, you need like 2,000 hours of clinical time, because I'm telling you, when you get out of CRNA school, there's no orientation. Like no one is like, when you get out to be a new nurse, you have like 6 months of orientation and like, programs and helpful. When you graduate CRNA school, like you have to graduate ready to go. Like I'm telling you, I worked 98 hours in 2 weeks. The CRNA that actually she mentors me, I don't think she's here today, but I love her. She actually like took me under her wing and took care of me. She was gone, and the anesthesiologist, like he admitted it to me. We're like friends now, but he admitted to me. He's like, I wanted to see if you could sink or swim. And he did. He threw me into a busy ortho room doing blocks. He threw me into a vascular case. I had to like put a really sick patient to sleep without like killing them, which is not easy on those cardiac vascular patients at all. And then I'm like waiting for him to come in. He never came in. So I'm like, I guess I'll put the A-line in. So I got the A-line in, and then I'm like, oh, is someone going to help me with the central line? Like I did everything. And he literally walked in like 2 hours, and he's like, how you doing? You okay? And I was like, ooh. And we were squeezing. The nurse helped me. Maureen, I love her. Like I had so many great nurses at Mercy. I know Pat's on here, that like helped me out. And we were like squeezing in blood, and I'm like, but the point is I did it. And that's why you train so hard. That's why school is so hard, because you have big job to do, and people are depending on you. And you can be lucky like I was with my first job, and I had the best nurses in the world like helping me out. But that's why it's so hard. And that's why I wanted to talk to you guys today about your mind and your brain, because that's such a big part of morphing into the person you need to become in order to handle this job and in order to handle school and to do this. Hi, Shay. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Guys, any other questions, guys, you can think of? Did I get your guys' questions? I think I'm getting all of them. Don't mind my skin peeling from my beach fun I had. Let's see here. And I know going back into, those of you guys that follow me on Instagram, I start my first 24 shift like next Monday. So I'll be kind of like taking you guys with me, documenting everything. I know it's going to be totally different. I don't know how many, COVID patients I'm going to be, coming in contact with. But when you're on call for 24 hours in the CRNA in house, you do a lot of emergent intubations. You go to the ER and do stuff. You put lines in, even like peripheral lines sometimes. So I'm really curious to see all the changes that are been happening since COVID. But I think now, what I kept telling my friends that were actually furloughed, I kept telling them, I said, look, surgeons are like having meltdowns that their cases are being canceled right now. I'm like, literally, like as soon as like COVID and stuff is lifted, there is going to be a backlog of cases. And sure enough, all my kind of locums and places are blowing up my email and my text messages. Can you pick up a shift? Can you help? Can you help? Can you help? So all is well. What was most difficult for you as a CRNA student? Hard one. I would say clinical. I would say clinical was hard. You can do the reading. We can all do school. We can take the test. We can write the papers. We can do that. It was a lot and it was hard, but clinical was the hardest. My program, we went to different sites, so you had to learn different charting systems. You had to learn different preceptors, different surgeons, different ways, which was excellent because you know how to do 1,000 things when you get out. And actually, I think bouncing around to different clinical sites in anesthesia school is incredible. You learn so freaking much. But clinical was the hardest for me. It was a struggle. I felt stupid and I hated feeling stupid. I felt like I didn't, know anything. It was hard. But like we talked here today, but it ultimately, makes you into a good provider. And that's why, emotional intelligence and kind of learning how to be in control is so important, because those are really the keys to, getting through clinical, because the skills are always going to come, but it's like mentally and emotionally being able to get through is going to make you like strong. Let's see, what additional science class you take for CRNA school? So I was crazy. I was actually working nights, and I was studying for the CCRN, working nights, and I took organic chem and biochemistry. So every school is a little bit different. There's actually a website, I think I put it up on my Facebook page, that lists all the CRNA schools and all their requirements. But I know organic and biochem was actually really helpful, because I actually took a biochemistry class my first semester, and we all sat there like literally in the library crying. Like we had no clue how to do biochem. Like we literally sat there like, oh my God, there was like all 8 of us. We had no clue. But it did help a little bit. So organic and biochem. And then if your GPAs aren't like in the 3.5 range or anything like that, you can also take some, retake some other chemistry classes to kind of boost that up as well. But definitely organic and bio. And I took a lab with them, and it was painful. I'd get off a 12-hour night shift and then go take an organic chem class, and I have no idea how to do any of that stuff. How did you deal with unruly preceptors? Yes, same thing. So same thing, like dealing with unruly surgeons. Preceptors can be scary. The main thing that helps is me and my classmates, we were a very small class. There was like only 7 or 8 of us. We were super small. So for the most part, we stuck together. We mostly got along. But what we did is as someone rotated through a clinical site, we would literally, like, once you left that day, we would kind of write down all the questions that preceptor asked, what they expected of you, what you did. And we actually kept like a log of like everything that those preceptors would ask to get kind of a leg up. But the main thing is, if they ask you something that, like, we call it pimping you, like they're pimping you, like, what about this? And they're asking you crazy stuff that you wouldn't even know to look up, because you don't know what you don't know. Like literally, you just very nicely say, you know what, I did a lot of reading last night that wasn't in my preparation. I apologize. How about I go look that up over at lunch and get back to you and we can talk. So that's kind of how you handle that. You know, you just have to kind of like cut it. Cause I mean, some of them will really beat you down, but hey, I just didn't get to that. That's a great question. Thank you for asking me that. I'm grateful to learn that. I appreciate that. I'll get right back to you, and then come back to them, send them an email or a text message like the next day if you don't see them again. Like that's how you handle it. Emotional intelligence, right? Relationship, social awareness, management, all that good stuff. Oh, thanks, Michelle. I appreciate it. BFF, London Look. You're welcome, I am king. So yeah, you can do it. If I can do it, guys, if I can do all this, you guys can do it too. Like, please, if I can do it, you can do it. You just gotta work hard. And you gotta be like, type A little bit crazy. Yes, Brooke. Yeah, that's how you handle that. Don't let them get to you, because it's definitely very scary when they're like asking you all these questions. You're like just sitting there awkwardly, and you're like, I'm like, how do you guys even know that stuff? Like, who knows that stuff? They crazy. Hey, Kale Brog, how are you? Good to see you. Anything else, guys, that you guys can think of? You guys are asking great questions. This is awesome. I appreciate you guys so much for, hanging out, spending time with me. And don't forget, if you want that sheet in my bio, my little kind of organization sheet, feel free to grab that. Remember to sign up so I can send you stuff, email. Do you guys have any specific questions about ventilators you want to ask me that I can make sure to cover tomorrow? I know ventilators are like a huge, I had no clue how to deal with a vent when I got out. I mean, you use them in the ICU, but you don't know them in and out. So anything specifically about vents or anything you guys can think of you want to know? I'm going to get some water. Nothing? Nothing? Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. What's a good unit to work in for pre-nursing? I'm working ortho trauma, moved to day shift, surgery. So ortho trauma is great. I actually started my career in ortho trauma. I would definitely say, I think I was just talking with my sister-in-law. I don't know if she's still on here, Deborah Reese. I don't know if I was just talking with her about this. I always say start somewhere heavy. Like, even if you don't know if you want to be a CRNA or you don't know what you really want to do, but start somewhere like ER or ICU, because getting that foundation, you will actually be able to go anywhere, even as like a tech, you know what I mean? I think I did volunteer work in the ER. Whatever I could do to get in and to get experience to see what was going on, I did. So I always say, go for the heavy, go for the hard stuff, go for the big things, because all that's going to do is give you an awesome foundation to lay your career upon. Maples and circuits. Yep, I remember that. Yep, I think I found that in my notes a while ago. Yep, I will do some Maples and circuit talk. That's scary stuff. Advanced modes and settings outside of the common ones. Yep. More of the advanced stuff. Okay, we can do that. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the basics. I think I have a little sheet I'll try to email out to you guys on kind of the basic stuff. And then we'll go a little bit deeper and a little bit more advanced. Would it help if I gave you guys a couple scenarios and stuff on things? I can tell you all kinds of crazy stuff that's happened to me. Thanks, Juan. Appreciate it. So kind of things like resistance, compliance, pressure volume loops. Oh, I love PSV Pro. That's my jam. CO2, yep. And actually also I have these Thursday Thrive in 5s. I gave a little talk about end tidal CO2, and there's 3 scenarios I went through. So that's in my IGTV, so feel free to check that out, because end tidal is definitely my jam. Okay, perfect, yeah. I know I see words like resistance, compliant, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, who cares? Lord help me. Scenarios are most helpful. Yeah, me too. Okay, perfect. This gives me an idea of where to go tomorrow. All right, guys. Well, it's almost 1. I appreciate you guys hanging out today. I hope that you guys learned. Oh, yes. Well, good. And that's the thing, is everything I try to teach and give you guys at least one little nugget you can use to have for clinical tomorrow, because I want you guys to be able to use stuff. It's the main thing. Like I said, you can collect information until you're blue in the face, but if you can't use it and if you can't apply it, then what are we doing, right? So that's what I want to try to help you guys with. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much. I will work on, finish up my ventilator stuff tomorrow. We will talk about that tomorrow. I will make my announcement on what I have for you guys. And then next week, I'm also starting work. So you guys are going to hang along in my hot mess ride of that. And I also have something that my business partner is putting together that I think will help you guys out with clinical. So lots more coming. Thank you guys so much for your time and hanging out with me and asking questions and participating. You are so appreciated. I'm going to enter you guys in to get that prize. Thank you, my CRNA Life. Please check out my CRNA Life page. Great information. Business partner, BFF is here. Yes, good luck at clinical tomorrow. Thank you, Juan. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I got to go tend to my 2-month-old. My mom's watching him right now, so. So, all right, I will be back Facebook tonight at 6, but it'll be the same presentation, and then brand new stuff tomorrow at noon on IG Live. All right, bye, guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. I appreciate every single one of you. Bye.